Hello and welcome everyone to Coders Arts. My name is Shivam Agarwal and I am going to be your online instructor and guide throughout this tutorial. This tutorial is about database with SQL. In this video, we are going to deal with MySQL and SQL and we'll see what are these two concepts and what is the difference between the two because many people have confusion between what is SQL and what is MySQL. Okay, let us start with MySQL first. So, what is MySQL? I'll say that MySQL is a relational database management system. In the last video, we saw what is a relational database management system and how it works. An example of RDBMS is MySQL. Okay, so MySQL is a platform where we can analyze, create, and visualize the data. Okay, in the relational form. It is open source and is free of cost currently. It is provided by Oracle. Okay, Oracle Corporation has developed and distributed it. It is ideal for both small and large applications. So whenever you think about an industry, you think whether MySQL is going to be used. I am learning MySQL, whether it is going to be used in industry or not. So in current world applications, both small and large scale industries use MySQL for their database management. Okay, why it is being used? It is derived to its characteristics because it is very fast, reliable, scalable, and easy to use. Okay, MySQL, in this tutorial you will see how easy it is to use the SQL with MySQL. Okay, it is cross platform, so you can create your code on Windows machine and run it on Linux, or create it on OS X and run it on Windows. So it is cross platform. Okay, it supports all the platforms. It is compliant with the ANSI SQL standard, so it is quite beneficial to use something like a software that is already compliant with the ANSI SQL standard for SQL implementation. So MySQL is also favorable in that as well. First released in 1995, so it is quite old and still being redeveloped according to the current needs. Okay, so it is not outdated. It is old but not outdated. Okay, it is currently redeveloped for the current needs. Okay. Lastly, it is developed, distributed, and supported by the Oracle. If we talk about who uses MySQL, all the websites that you can see over the internet, all of them, at least at one point or in the time, they have used MySQL for their database. Okay. Now, many of the websites or the organizations are shifting towards little bit towards the non-relational database management systems like MongoDB, etc. But still today, many of the organizations prefer MySQL for their data. Okay, because it is very easy to manage data with using SQL. So database is used majorly to show the data. Okay. So if you want to show the data on a website, what you will need is an RDBMS, that is MySQL. An example of RDBMS is MySQL. Another is a scripting language. So PHP is one example. I'll give you more examples. With Python, you can use Django, of which tutorials we have already made on the channel. You can also use Flask for it. You can also use something called as Node.js. The tutorials of Node.js are also available. And you can use something called as Express. Express is a part of Node.js only. So when you use JavaScript, you comply to use Express.js only with the Node.js form. Okay. So this is how you can use MySQL. The last thing that you will want to use is a front end and the SQL to get the data. Okay, so this is how, this is just an overview to show that why MySQL is going to be used in the industry. Okay, now let us understand something about SQL. We have seen what MySQL is. Later on we'll see the differences also. SQL is the structured query language. Yeah, I'll just write the full form over here. It is called structured query language. Okay. So, as you can already see from its name, it is a programming language used to access and manipulate the data inside the database. Okay. It is a standard language for dealing with relational databases. So, whenever you talk about relational database, the first thing that you will use to access the data inside it will be SQL. It doesn't matter what platform you are using, whether it is MySQL or SQL Server by Microsoft or MS Access or anything. any relational database platform you are using, the programming language that you will be using to access the data will always be SQL. Okay, so this is the programming language. It can be used to insert, search, and update all kind of records that we'll see in the coming videos also, the examples and implementation. Now, this is something important over here. I'll say that in some of the database systems like MySQL and SQL Server, MySQL and SQL Server require a semicolon at the end of the SQL queries. SQL queries are nothing but just a single or multi-line statements that are used to fetch the data. Okay, so in this tutorial, we'll be always ending the statement with a semicolon. So remember, whenever you are using SQL, don't forget to put a semicolon at the end. Okay. Next point is not case sensitive. So all the SQL statements and queries, whether it is predefined or you are writing your own table, these are not case sensitive. Okay. So whenever you are using SQL, a select statement, like if I give you the example, this select will be exactly similar to the capital, like this. Okay. So both the statements will be always the same because it is not case sensitive. If you want to know some of the most important SQL commands, here is the list. You can have a look at it. We'll be looking at each one of them in the coming videos, so no need to worry about that. Now, let us look at the difference between SQL and MySQL. I hope till now you have already cleared all the differences and you know what is the major role of MySQL and SQL in the database systems. But let us look at the examples in a whole. So MySQL is a platform for relational database management system. Okay. So when you are talking about a platform to create or manage data, you are talking about MySQL. Other examples of such platform can be my SQL Server, that can be Oracle, that can be MS Access. Okay. When you talk about SQL, it is a language used to access the data inside the database. Okay. The database will be created in MySQL, and the programming language that will be used to access that data will be SQL. Okay, that is all written over here. For managing database and scale the data, we use MySQL, and for operations on data inside the database, we'll use the SQL programming language. I hope I have made myself clear. If you have any doubts or problem in understanding, you can comment it down below. We'll be trying to look at it. Also, you can use the personal chat with Coders Arts to get personalized answers. That will be it for this video. I hope you liked it. See you in the next video with more information. Thank you.